Welcome to our social media and parental control guide. We're so excited that you're here to find ways for us to help you make your student lead lives that are healthy in the social media world. My name is Luis Sanchez, and I'm the youth director at Palmetto Shores Church in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I'm really excited to help you through this. But before we get started, we need to answer the question, why do we actually need this? Well, when we look at statistics and social media, we realize that they just don't complement each other. They just don't get along, right? Statistics show that social media is not that great. But we also know that students are very attached to their phone and that they actually use their phone for not just communication, but as a social hub, as a way to express themselves. And so taking this away just seems like a big, difficult thing to do. So we need to find ways where we can both make sure that our students are living healthy lives in the social media world, but at the same way, we're not taking away something that is very important for them. So how do we do this? Well, in the Bible, we read in Colossians 3:17 that Paul tells us that whatever we do, whether in word or deed, do it in the name of the Lord Jesus. So this means that whatever we do, we need to do it to glorify God. So two things come out of this. First, when we as parents or guardians are setting rules, limits, expectations, and just anything that we ask our students to do, we are called to do it to glorify God. And the second thing is when our students are called to follow our rules, they don't need to do it just because we say so, but they need to do it because it's an opportunity for them to glorify God. And so it's important that we understand that this is just something that's really helpful for both you and your student to glorify God, which is the ultimate goal we have in life. So how do we do this? We're going to teach you how to set up parental controls that both help you and your student have limits that are safe, that it means that you care for them, and that are helpful for your entire family. So as we do this, it's just really important that you understand one thing. The goal of this is for you to be able to have communication and relationship with your students where you're able to communicate what benefits both you and them. And so it's important that you have open communications, that you help each other understand where you are and why you're setting limits or why they need to get more freedom. Just constantly communicate with your student, make sure you're listening to them, and just make sure that this is helpful for you and for them to glorify God. All right, let me show you how you can do this. So we're gonna have a student phone and we're gonna have a parent phone. So you first wanna take the parent phone, and from here you're gonna download. The first thing you're gonna do is download the Family Link app. So you can find this here at the Google App Store. You're just gonna search Family Link. So we can go ahead and do that, Family Link, and it will pop up right there, you'll see it. And so you're gonna click install, and while you wait, this will be the app that you will be installing. It's really important. You can download this also on an Apple phone. So if you have an Apple phone and your student has an Android, you can still download this app on your iPhone and be able to do all the same parental controls right from your iPhone. So it's a really helpful thing to know. So once it's downloaded, you're gonna open it, go ahead and open it, and it's gonna kind of give you a follow through on how you can set up your student's phone. So the first thing is you're gonna sign in with your Gmail that you have, your Google account. So you can go ahead, sign in if you need to. If not, you can just click continue. And then it's gonna ask you if your child has a Google account. So if they do, then you're gonna click yes. If they don't, then you're gonna create an account for them. Especially if this is their first tablet or phone, you definitely wanna do that and do an account that they're gonna be using throughout their teenage years. So it's important that you make sure that this is an account they wanna use. So let's say we have that, so we click yes, and then from here it's gonna give us instructions on what we need to do on our child's device. So when we go here on our student's phone, we're gonna go ahead and go to our settings. So in our settings, we're gonna scroll down until we can find something called Digital Wellbeing and Parental Controls. All right, so when you click on that, you'll have different settings on how things you can set, but all the way at the bottom, you'll see something called Parental Controls. So click on that, and that will take you to a screen where you can start setting up this account. So it'll give you some things you can do there. So go ahead and get started. It's gonna ask you, are you setting this for a child or teen or parent? So this is our student's phone. So we're gonna go ahead and click child or teen. And once we do that, it's gonna tell us, just follow us these steps to set it up. So the first one is going to be just waiting for it to load and start getting ready for that. And while you do that, you're gonna need your Gmail account and your password, and you're also gonna need their Gmail account and their password. So first we're gonna need the student's account. So go ahead and sign into that or create an account. But once you have that, you go ahead and click in. This is the account that you're going to manage. It's important to know if they have an account maybe with their school, you can add that later. That way you can still have the same parental controls for both, but you want to choose their main Google account. After that, you want to set your parent email. So go ahead and pick that, and then go ahead and put a password. Let me do that real quick on my phone here, just so that I'm gonna sign in into my Google account. So we do that, and then go here. All right, and once you do that, you're going to log in, and you'll be able to start setting up things. And once you log in, you're gonna have a two-step verification. So whatever it is that you have with that, just go ahead and verify it. Just gonna do it here on my. All right, once you do the two-step verification, you'll be logged in into supervision. So when you have that, it'll show you things you can do. You can manage account settings and controls, block or approve apps, control location settings, limit time screen for their devices. So go ahead, read that, make sure you get as much information as you can so that you know what you'll be able to do with this app. It's really important that you read it and just learn what it's doing. But once you do that, if you scroll all the way down, you'll see that'll ask you to put the password for your student's phone. So go ahead and do that if you know it. If not, ask them to put their password for you. So we're gonna go ahead and do that for the student account. So we go ahead and put the password, and then we're gonna log in, and it's gonna ask you, do you want to allow supervision? The student is asking the student if that's okay. It's gonna be okay because you're gonna be there and they're gonna agree for it. And so once you do that, it's going to start linking the account. So once these accounts are linked, this is where you'll be able to go ahead and start going through all the settings, making all the things you want to do, all the limits, all the changes, and this will give you the chance to do that. So we're going to wait for it to link, and once you do that, we'll go ahead and show you all the different things you can do. So we're still on the student phone, so it's important to know that we're going to set it up here first, but then on this parent phone, you'll have access to keep changing things further on. So now we're linked, so we go ahead and click next. And the first thing it's going to ask you is if you want to manage their applications. So Google and Android phones sometimes have apps that just come with the phone, and it will also show you the apps that your student has downloaded on their phone, so you can decide if you want to just let them keep those apps there or you just want to remove them ahead. So you can go through the list. I really recommend that you do, so you make sure what your student has on their phone, and you can just decide which apps they can. So if you don't like an app, you can either turn it on or off really quick, just clicking yes or no. Right, and then you'll see all the apps that they have, and you can decide from there which ones you want allowed and which ones you don't. So after you do that, after you go through them, just click on next, and you'll give you another setting. We'll gotta wait for that to get ready, so we'll wait for a moment. And once we do that, we'll see that now we'll have the next section, which will be just managing the controls that they have and the restrictions that we want to set for their Apple account, or that they want to set for their Google account. So from here, you'll have the way to manage the filters and settings. So things like, do they need approval for every single thing they purchase and download, or do you just need it for things they buy that require money, or just, whatever level of limitation you want to give them. We're going to set up approval for everything they download, just so that we know exactly what's happening. Google Apps and games, really important. Make sure you pick the right age that they're in, that you want to restrict the apps that they are downloading, because according to their age, some apps might not be appropriate. So make sure you pick the right thing. We're going to pick teen for here, so we go ahead and do that. And then we'll see other things like movies, TV, books. So according to the age, you can decide what they can download or not, but make sure they're, stays in their age. That way they're not just downloading anything. From there on, you can do filters on Google Chrome. It'll ask you, do you want to block mature sites? Just make sure that they don't have access to that. Or do you want to request approval for every single site? That's also a possibility you have, where you can customize specific links that they are allowed to, but you kind of control what they're accessing online on Chrome. Also on Google Search, you want to set on that it filters on anything that is inappropriate from Google searches, which is helpful. Controls for signing in will just allow you to give permission for them to use their Google account on any other device. So on a computer from school, or an iPad, a tablet, whatever it is, you want to be able to just be in control of what they're using, where they're using it. So this is a great option for you to have on. From there, we click on next, and it's just going to install the Family Link app on this phone. That way you can manage it as well on your student's device in case you don't have access to your phone right away. So after that, you'll download it and you'll see that you have access to that right there. But now we can go ahead and pick up the parent phone, and just here you'll go back to the Family Link and you'll click done on the page that we initially had. And once you do that, you'll have access to the parental controls on your phone that are connected to the student's phone. So for example, you can set a downtime, which is really helpful if you're want to make sure that your student goes to bed at a time and they don't use their phone, super late at night. You want to make sure that they're going to bed without having to worry that they're using their phone. So you pick a time you want to lock it, and then you pick a time for the next morning where it will unlock, allowing you to make sure you can do that. And then of course you can set up every specific day that you want to do different times. Maybe the weekend is a different time because they can stay up longer, whatever it is. You can set up here app limits, so any app you want to use. We see here you can set up a time limit all the way down to 5 minutes. So after 5 minutes, the app will block away, so they can't use it more than that. This is very helpful for apps where you want to limit how much time they're interacting with it. You can also just go ahead and block apps right away, and they won't be able to use that app at all. Or if it's a different type of app where maybe something was cool, you always want to allow that, and because you're not worried that app is not a problem, so you can always choose to always allow that. That way it will be away from the downtime. They'll be able to access it no matter what, which some apps you might want to have that option. Content restrictions, again, help you set up just different boundaries on things they can Google, they can search. For example, on YouTube, you can turn on restricted mode, which allows you to make sure you just try to hide as many things from the YouTube search and make sure that they're not being exposed to everything that's out there. So you want to go through that for every Google app. And then all the things that they have, the Google App Store, require approval for all the content. As we mentioned before, this is where you can change that further on. And then account settings, how to sign in, different things. You want to make sure you go through each one of these so you know all the possibilities. But after that, you'll be able to also look at their location, turn that on and off. If you want to, it'll show you where you are, what you're doing on that tab. And so you want to make sure that you go through this. We recommend that you just don't set it up once and then leave it there, but that you are weekly, just every now and then checking up, see how it works for you and how it works for your student. Ask them how they feel, what's working for them, what's not. And again, like we mentioned, just have patience, have care, just have grace, and allowing each one of you to just communicate and be able to talk about what's working and what's not, because it's going to help you glorify God and your student as well. And that's the goal that we have. So thank you so much for watching, and we hope that this helps.